All right, guys, I know what you're going to say. This isn't a Q5. Well, short disclaimer. When I shot the video for the Q5, I wasn't going to put any videos like that on YouTube. I see that you guys tend to like those kind of walk around videos that I actually do for the customers, so I'm going to be doing more of those, and the production value will be better on the future ones that I do. But at least for now, this one, I just wanted to get it out there because I realized it was going a little bit too long. I had some problems with my editor, so I'm actually doing the editing myself now, and we'll see how it goes. Hope you enjoy, but much better production after that. Peace. Okay, my name is PJ. I'm a 10-year Audi Master Tech with the brand. I actually currently work at an Audi location, and I do basically consulting for German Line, this particular shop. I was brought in here to diagnose a lot of oil leaks and a lot of things going on with this 3.2 liter Q5. This is my personal Q5 here. This is my car that I daily drive to work as one of 3 Audis that I own. But I'm here to talk about your car today because my car has quite a lot more miles than yours. So I want to tell you the things that I see. This is going to be a multi-part video because I have just already kind of diagnosed the front, including an issue that I have to bring to your attention that literally just happened and burned me. But we can work this out if you do decide to get the work done here. If you don't, then I will have to figure out how I'm going to take care of this broken coolant pipe for you. But there's a lot of issues associated with this coolant pipe. As you can see, there's coolant spilled. You can see my flashlight here. It's very tragic because all I did was touch this coolant pipe right here, and I'm going to touch it with my hand now that you've identified it with the light, and it literally is so brittle it snapped off. Now the reason why I touched it is because I was looking at your oil leaks. We're going to get down to the nitty-gritty here. Right here, this is your high pressure fuel pump. Your high pressure fuel pump is located where this bright light is. I'm going to take the light away. Lighting in this particular shop is not as good. I bring my own light if I do work on cars here. But this is the high pressure fuel pump. The gasket that's mounted on the cam is in fact leaking. So it is leaking down in the front there, but you are leaking oil in the front. You are also leaking oil from what appears to be just the upper valve cover gaskets. Now, that's both sides. You're also leaking oil from the upper timing covers, both sides. I'm going to lift the car up in the air and make another video, but you are also leaking from the oil filter housing. These are all very, very common locations at this mileage for this particular engine to leak oil. And you've got pretty much all of them. Now, the reason why I actually came down to the front is because I wanted to know why this big coolant pipe that you have that's actually broken now is contacting your serpentine belt. That's a no-no. That's really bad. Now, I don't know why it's doing it. I haven't seen that off the top of my head. It could be that the pipe itself, we already know the pipe is very, very brittle, and more than likely the original equipment pipe fitted to the vehicle for 88,000 miles and over a decade on the vehicle. It is plastic. It's a plastic pipe. But even though you have the correct coolant in there, the coolant is very old. Now, looking down and seeing that the belt, and you can see it clear as day, that belt is contacting that pipe, and it's actually worn a groove. So even if this didn't happen to you, this was going to blow up in my face as soon as I touched the car, or any technician that had touched the car or got in here for any kind of real work, this was going to end up happening. Like I said, if we do work here today, I don't plan on charging you for this crossover pipe. I'll end up doing the job. In order to do it, this whole front end has to come forward 5 inches. I have to take the front bumper off, a lot of work to do it. But the type of person that I am, not even attached to German Line, the car is immobile as far as I'm concerned. I would rather fix this and keep you with a smile on your face rather than actually say, well, no, this is not something, this was there because it's old. It is in fact because it's old, but in my eyes, I was the last person, unfortunate soul, to touch it. So that, regardless if you do work with us or not, that is something that I will be repairing on the vehicle. The bad news is the vehicle will have to stay. So that's just the nature of the business. We're dealing with a quite old car, and if we are going to do work or we're not going to do work, I'll have to schedule my time to come out here and repair it. and get that replaced, including sourcing a brand new part. I don't do used parts. So now we have that leak there. We also have, I believe that's the source of all your oil leaks on the top half of the engine, but that is a lot. And I could understand, I was talking to Michelle and she said that you actually got a pretty heavy quote from a dealer, and that's because the dealer actually charges quite a bit of money an hour. So I don't know how this video is going to find you. I don't know if this is something that can be sent to you. I don't know. I will try to put it on WhatsApp and see if Michelle can actually get it sent to you. I record in 60K, in 4K, 60 frames, because I actually also have a YouTube channel. But as far as this is concerned, these aren't going to destroy the engine. These are all quite common issues. I notice you don't have a check engine light. You don't have anything going on in that way. I am going to lift the vehicle and check underneath it to see if your oil pan is leaking. It's not very common on these to have an oil pan leak. The upper timing covers, they can be quite expensive to repair. The oil filter housing, it can be quite as expensive to repair. The valve cover gaskets. We are going to hope it's just the upper valve cover gaskets and not actually the cam cradles, because that's a lower, pretty much valve cover gasket kind of seal that requires a lot more in-depth work. We are going to hope, as I get this up on the lift, that it's only the upper timing covers, because if it is in fact the lower timing cover as well, big stuff would have to happen that I would be very honest and probably tell you it might be time. If you really want the oil leaks to stop, it might be time to get a new vehicle, just because of the fact that it would be so expensive to do a lower timing cover on this vehicle. That, and like I said, I own one myself, it would far exceed the value of the car to repair it, even with me, even at the discounted labor rates that German Line does offer. But we're not going to get that far yet, because all I see right now is top end oil leaks. So keep an eye out. There will be another video and we'll talk more about it. And again, like I said, that coolant issue, I will take care of the coolant issue, regardless if you do work with us or not. Now, I have the car up in the air, and I have a better idea of what's going on with the vehicle as far as the oil leaks are concerned. Because again, I talked to Michelle briefly about the vehicle, and to my understanding is that you got a heck of an estimate. Now, I understand why, obviously looking at it from underneath as well too. Here we go. So, I wish I had the ability to not have to hold a light in my hand. But your oil pan is leaking along the edges too. That's going to need to be resealed. This is the oil pan here does not use a gasket. It actually is a liquid gasket. It's RTV sealant, so it needs to be resealed. When I told you about the high pressure pump leak, it is very bad and it is completely saturating your alternator. That's coming from the top of the engine and leaking down. I pointed it out to the top of the vehicle, and I will, as well as an estimate, but I will also announce everything that I found in this video too, because this will be the second and last video that I send you. There's no need to scan the car from what I see, because I didn't see any check engine light or anything inside as far as engine related to the car, although I probably will check and make a follow-up video if I do see anything. Now, with the leak by the high pressure pump, that is leaking all over your alternator. The bad news here is that this will eventually cause the alternator to fail. I see it time and time again where that leak is ignored and it falls on the alternator and eventually affects the windings, and then the alternator would need to require replacement after that, which looks like it would be a fairly easy job, but it's not something that you want to get into because the alternators on these vehicles can be quite expensive. All the oil does seem to be coming from the top, with the exception of the oil pan gasket, and the oil cooler gasket has failed. That needs to be replaced as well. That's cheap. That is not something that costs a lot of money to do, or if I do the oil pan gasket, it's one of those things where I have to take the oil cooler out. As you can see here, this is the oil pan, this is the bottom bolt to the oil cooler. So in order for me to get to the oil cooler, I have to to get to the oil pan, I have to take out the oil cooler. That would take care of this issue. On this side, you have oil leaking down. That is coming from the valve cover gaskets. We're hoping that it's just the top one, but this is one of those things where you got to fix all the oil leaks that we see, clean this entire engine off, put some leak trace in, and then drive the car again and see what's going on. But you've been driving with these oil leaks for quite a while. I can tell by the condition of your belly pan and your rear belly pan. So there's a lot of cleaning that has to take place. Now, I do think the majority of this crazy amount of oil that's leaking here is from the oil filter housing gasket, which the gasket itself might be a couple dollars, but the labor to put it in is kind of expensive. At 88,000 miles, it's around this time that gasket does fail. And I have not done it on that Q5, but I have done it on my other car, a 2011 S4. Now, that's what I see. There's no leaks coming from the transmission, no leaks coming from anything else. So as I back up here and actually give you a rundown of what I see with the car, you have both valve covers upper leaking. You have both upper timing covers leaking. You also have the oil filter housing leaking, the gasket that mates it to the engine block. That is leaking. You coming down low, you also have the high pressure fuel pump cam seal leaking. Coming down low, your oil cooler is leaking and your oil pan is leaking. Then parts that I broke, the coolant pipe that goes across the front, that needs to be replaced too. And we hope that nothing else gets hurt or nothing else is as brittle as that crossover pipe when I get into and it really does say the same thing about everything with this job. I hope that you do approve and do the work with me, but I will have to say a disclaimer that most of the cooling system on these vehicles are plastic. Most of the plastic and oil do not mix. When oil leaks onto plastic, because plastic is petroleum based, the plastic deteriorates. So I don't want to run into a situation where usually the parts are kind of cheap, but I just want to make you aware of a situation where things can start to get repaired and other things we'll find out need to be replaced because they can get damaged in the removal and the reinstall. I can cover a lot, but I can't cover everything if it falls into that nature. I am fairly quick at these jobs, and I know these jobs very well. Some of them can be annoying, but I'm fairly quick because I've done quite a few of them, and I will price accordingly because of the fact that I can actually do these jobs faster than most. But it still will be within book hours, but I could price accordingly and save you a little bit of money here and there, getting them done and getting them done right. Again, my personal car has 146,000 miles on it and climbing. I daily drive it every day, 30 miles commute every day. As far as this is concerned, if you go ahead and get the oil leaks fixed with me and I take care of the oil leaks, it will be a couple days to a week turnaround time completely with the car. I will get with Michelle and she will let you know with my labor rate what exactly it's going to cost to do the job. If you do approve the job, we'll get parts located as quickly as we can, and I'll get on it as quickly as I can. If I do not do the job, you still have to give me at least a 1-day turnaround to get in here, pull this car into service position and remove the front bumper so I could replace that coolant pipe for you and send you on your way. But I want to thank you for choosing German Line. I want to thank you for choosing me, PJ. And feel free to hold on to these videos after they get to you, and we'll talk further. All right, guys, that's a wrap. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. I'm going to get the repair video of this one done as soon as possible and get it up, along with the repair video I'm done with the Macan. It's just gonna take some time for me to get the editing all squared away. I'm gonna try to have it done in the next day or two. But thank you guys, have a wonderful night.